Help me understand something. The current governor of California, one Gavin Newsom, has been the governor for 2 terms, right? What, at least 2 terms? We'll call it 2 terms. Before that, he served in the capacity as the mayor of San Francisco, if I remember correctly. He's also Nancy Pelosi's nephew. So if he's a lifelong resident or not, it's kind of immaterial. He's at least very familiar with the workings of California as a state. Part of that knowledge to me would logically include access to the weather data. Part of that would also include knowledge of fire season that they currently go through. What I'd say, like annually, a couple times a year. That, and I would also imagine there would be some familiarity with the Santa Ana winds that drive those fires sometimes, or sometimes helps put them out. I remember wintertime, they talk about the El Nino. El Nino, the winds off the coast. Speaking of the coast, isn't there a big body of water on the western coast of California called the Pacific Ocean? Okay, here's where I'm going with this. My understanding is they bring water from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. Whether that's via canals, aqueducts, God knows it wouldn't be like a pipeline like the Keystone Pipeline, would it? Okay, they've got a big body of water off the west coast of the whole United States. However, my understanding is there's this entity called the Coastal Commission that gets involved with the permitting and approval process that ties up everything because they just don't want to build anything on the coast. I would imagine it spoils their view. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but what's a better view? A house on a hillside with lush greenery that's maintained and managed properly, or a burned out char of a city that Pacific Palisades is turning into? Looks like it's headed towards Brentwood too. My understanding, the cost of this to date is estimated to be in the neighborhood of $150 billion. Would it be much less expensive? Correct me if I'm wrong. Help me understand this. Would it be much more cost effective to build big tanks, desalinate the water, and have that water available for firefighting? Because my understanding is the salt water is problematic with the firefighting equipment. All right, well, one of two things: either desalinate it, or when you do use ocean water, flush it with clean water. Understand salt water's corrosive. Trust me, I got that. But I look at it a little bit like this, too. Think about this for a second. Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass, Karen Bass, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're familiar with the area. They've been there a while. They know the seasons. Just like in Georgia, I can tell you the seasons, how that works in the, because I'm from there. I'm originally born and bred there. Okay? They know the weather patterns, the seasons, the fire season, the Santa Ana winds. So for them to go on record as saying, well, we weren't prepared, begs the question, why not? You're from there. You know the area. How is it you're not prepared? To me, it boils down to at least one of two things. There could be more going on there too. It's either gross incompetence, which I find difficult to believe because you're from there, you know the state, you know the weather. Or is it intentional? I hope not. I would not like to think that of anybody in any leadership position. But how is it that you were caught off guard? Oh, and you cut the firefighting budget for the state, Governor. You cut the firefighting budget for the city, Madam Mayor, right before the fire season. Oh, and insurance companies have a cap on the amount of policies they're allowed to pay out, if I remember correctly. Reading somewhere. Again, I'm not well versed on this. Some of this is rumor, allegedly, what I've read. So, help me understand all this. Seriously, help me understand that. The reality is, you've got thousands of burned out buildings, thousands of displaced people, homeless. Are they homeless only when they're living on the streets because of drug addiction or mental illness? Or are these people who have suffered the loss of their homes homeless too? Yes, I dare say they are. They might be. There are people without jobs too. There weren't just houses burned down. More than probably not. There's probably businesses built. So you've got the good chance that some people have lost a home and potentially a business in one fell swoop based on either incompetence, negligence, or an agenda. I hope not. All right, y'all, be good.